everybody. John Lorden here with a special Brainscratch Searchlight update. This one is on the case of Bellamy Gamboa, which you might remember is a case that we covered only a few weeks ago, missing from Virginia Beach, Virginia. You might remember we had a lot of questions about her boyfriend because it seemed like she was at home. Well, some reports are saying that they were actually broken up, but they were still living together for their children. They have two very young children. Other reports are saying that they actually were still together. So it's kind of debatable if they were together or not, but they were certainly living together. I've been holding off on doing this update because I was hoping for a development to occur, and it still hasn't. Basically, what we do know at this point is that her boyfriend has confessed to killing her. What we don't know is where Bellamy's body is, and we don't even really know why that hasn't been figured out. Typically, when you have confessions like this come forward, it's pretty quick after that a body is recovered. That has not happened in this case. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at an article over at crimeonline.com. This one written by Lee Egan. She's saying WAVY News reports that Lamont Johnson, 41, is currently behind bars on second-degree murder and child abuse charges, and that he allegedly confessed to Virginia Beach authorities that he killed his former girlfriend, placed her in a bag, and dumped her somewhere in the Chesapeake Bay area. Of course, one thing I'm wondering is if she was actually put into the water, and that's part of the reason why they aren't able to find her as easily as if he had left her somewhere where he could just kind of take them to or direct them to. According to court documents, Johnson admitted that he pushed Gamboa down the stairs, got on top of her, and strangled her until she died. Really, really terrible outcome. And I have to say, over the past few weeks, both Lee and I have been in touch with one of the family members. She actually reached out to us on Twitter. We've been speaking to her just about what's been going on through all this. She gave us me in particular, just a little more detail. The two older kids were not at the home where this occurred. Only the two younger kids were home at the time that this occurred. I'm also concerned about these child abuse charges. If I heard correctly, it's actually delinquency charges, and there's 4 of them. I'm not quite sure what those charges are about. My fear is that I don't know if the children were drugged or something like that while he was disposing of their mother. That's kind of where I'm going in terms of why those charges are being talked about in the media, but there's no details. So that's really just off the top of my head. That is just kind of my assumption on what's going on there. Over at WTKR.com, we got an update from the brother, the younger brother of Lamont Johnson, Bellamy's boyfriend, James Crockett. He makes a statement. First of all, I'd like to send my condolences to the Gamboa family and the Johnson family. This is a tragic situation that took place, and I hope it doesn't get prolonged any longer than it already has. And I kind of agree with him, and I'm telling you, that's part of the reason why I think we're all waiting for Bellamy's body to be discovered so she could be put to rest properly. My brother is a kind-hearted person. I don't know if he snapped or what would have made him snap. He was very well invested in the relationship, said Crockett. And then he goes on to talk, and I really don't want to quote him word for word and all this, but he's kind of talking about he wants to understand more of the conditions of why Lamont did this. And of course, him being his brother, I certainly understand that. There's a little bit of a tone that I think some people might look at and say, hey, this is starting to tread into victim blaming a little bit. Like, what could she have done to deserve that? I certainly don't think there's anything that she could have done to deserve being pushed down a flight of stairs and then strangled. So, but I understand that this is his brother. His brother is trying to understand it on an interpersonal level because he believes that he knows Lamont well, and this is completely out of character for him. Crockett believes his brother and Gamboa still cared for each other and says they even appeared at a birthday party together a week before she went missing. Right now, Crockett says the twins are staying with his side of the family and doing well. And then we get a little bit of backstory here. In 2017, court documents show that both Gamboa and Johnson filed emergency protective orders against each other. The action was taken after 2 arguments in March took violent turns. Court documents say Johnson pushed Gamboa onto the ground and grabbed her. Johnson claims Gamboa slapped and pushed him. The cases were ultimately dismissed. So it does seem like we have a bit of a precedent for violence possibly going in both directions here. Following Johnson's arrest, Gamboa's sister released the following statement: "Thank God we've got this confession." I just want to stop there and echo that. We see so many of these cases where someone goes missing, and quite honestly, we never get the truth. We never come to understand what has happened. So feel how you will about Lamont, which I understand there's going to be a lot of charged feelings out there. I am also a bit thankful that he's at least come forward. He's not leaving the family in this position of not knowing what happened. He's owning up to what he did. And I'm going to follow that by saying what he did is terrible and it should have never have happened. But in the face of an extremely bad situation, these are steps that I can still look at and kind of appreciate in some way. I don't know if he felt like the heat was really on him. I don't know if police were already talking to him in a way where he was afraid that he was going to get busted. Whatever the mechanics were, I'm thankful for the families in particular and for Bellamy's sister to be able to say this. Thank God we got his confession. The first step was to get someone to speak up. That was our fight, and we will all continue to fight. The next step is to pray for Lamont. Give him the strength and courage to continue speaking, and please, please, please let us know where Bellamy's body is. We just want to bring her home and lay her to rest. And that's one of the first things I talked about as soon as the announcement came out that Lamont had confessed. I reached back out to that family member and told her I was just really hoping that we were going to find where Bellamy was sooner rather than later so that the family could give her a proper burial. And of course she echoed that. She says, yes, that is absolutely what they're waiting for as well. Like I said, I don't know the dynamics of why this hasn't happened to date. I fear that it is that she has been placed in a large body of water somewhere and they're having some difficulty finding her, but that is just my assumption based on previous experiences from cases that I've looked into. Do you guys have thoughts on it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And I don't know, my heart is broken for this outcome, but I'm thankful that there are answers. It always kind of gets me too when we have these cases where we do find a body, but then we don't know what happened or something along those lines. And then the case kind of gets lost in this in-between place. Thankfully, we don't have that happening here at all. We kind of have the truth already, or at least some aspects of it. But now we just need to find Bellamy and bring her home. So that's the update. I will keep you guys posted. I am hoping sooner rather than later that I can give you guys a new video and say that she has been found. But I just wanted to get one out to at least let you know that it seems like we do know what happened in this case. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you back here on the Lord and Arts channel.